They had a big party.
Well, calf fries,
Yeah.
same thing.
One of the meals.
They
Put
already
it on one of those,
No,
basically like a barbecue like they do
In fact,
with
the guy-
the tri-tips
the
in Santa
guy,
Maria.
we never sold them, and the
They
guy
grate,
came in one day
put
to
it on
sell
there,
them, and he
it's all
said, "You ever tried
marinated.
it?" He said, "They go good." And I said,
Cut up, it looks like
He said,
Furnace
"Yeah."
style.
So I said, "Well, send me a box." And they
I
come in the
guess it had to be
store
there.
on like a Friday, and they were gone by dark.
But
What did they do with them
Cook, eat
though?
them.
But like how? Like
Oh,
fried?
I don't know now, I don't, a lot of that stuff, I don't care. I was interested in selling it, I didn't.
We didn't eat them, any of that, except the sausage. But what did they call that though?
I don't know.
Something they called
But,
it. I can't tell.
but, like I say, ears, tails, and feet, we sold, I don't know how much a week. That was I mean, they
But
ate
we
that.
didn't eat them. Never
So
tried
what
'em.
would you do with a tail? There's just nothing on
Make
it.
a soup
know
out
it.
of it.
Oh,
I
just
don't know what they do
flavoring?
with,
You just chew on it all day.
The little, the little cork thing.
It was like
Trying to
a,
think what that-
it was like an ice pick, but in your teeth.
Oh dear.
I don't think so.
and you know, the biggest selling piece of chicken that we sold?
Next.
Backs.
Backs.
Why?
And people with gizzards is what I never could.
Gizzard,
I couldn't-
backs.
Well,
Well,
where's,
your mother, didn't you like them too, next?
Next?
Uh-huh.
No, I'm not
Mom used to eat the neck
Yeah.
and,
Well, I
I
know,
guess the back.
I used to eat the heart.
I never ate.
I like
always
the
had,
liver.
I know
thigh.
Clara
the liver.
always.
You
cooked
eat
it,
part.
I eat the liver.
Beef part.
Yeah.
No,
Can
I-
tell the
Oh, you remember George?
George who?
George the hog.
No.
You remember that?
We
that-
named a hog George?
Yeah, Daddy had a hog over there in that first place we raised, or that he
Rex
raised.
Nine?
Yeah, and he raised it, and you know him, he made a pet out of it.
I just started to say it was a bad.
And he
In the
couldn't,
house.
he couldn't
Connie,
kill it.
yeah.
And the last time I saw that hog was at Manuel, or no, what was that guy's name that lived at 15 between it, the
I
former?
don't,
Wasn't it Manuel that had the telephone?
I don't know.
Well, they had that
I'm
hog
too young.
strapped down to that thing, and they cut his throat and
Mhm.
bled him to death and made blood pudding.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, someone did kill a pig on Ranch 9, because I know I went out there and, you know, it was draining out. I was throwing up all over the place, you know.
You know, we had the
That's not good,
barbecues.
sheep. Yeah,
Well, when those barbecues
When we
first
moved to
started, we
Germany,
went down, there was a
We
spring down
had
below
this-
the cabin.
hole that we were
And they
friends
went
with.
down there and
She
they
was
would
from
kill the hog
England,
and
he
string him
had
up
Joined the Air Force.
on
but
the,
he was
you know, get from a tree.
Texas.
And then go ahead and
They lived
make
like
the
on an
barbecue of the
in
sausage or
small
whatever
town.
they were making out
Right
of it.
across
But
was where
Mr.
they-
Mr. Robert
Richard
raised
did
hogs
it
for his
on
dad,
Saturday
because I've been
night
there
for
when
Sunday dinner, and
when
they
we'd go
handed
to
him out
the-
their fries.
we did,
It's
went to the
just-
spring.
oh,
Well,
goodness.
you
Very
did
cool.
too, because we got stuck coming
Verbal
out, but we didn't kill it down there, but I remember Mr. Robert, he had a place right across the road from his
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
And I guess he did the shooting, and then we'd take it and
But I remember them stringing
Make
that up, you
sausage.
know, up and,
But see, back then, the health department didn't bother you.
really?
You know.
Jim, there's something that, what I'm trying to think of is mountain something, what they used to.
Mountain
call it.
oyster?
Right,
Right,
yeah,
mountain
mountain
Mountain oysters, that's the same thing that the,
Mountain what?
mountain oysters.
No, it wasn't, that wasn't it then. I don't think.
Testicles.
Well, I mean, the word they used for
Well,
it.
wasn't it oyster?
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew there was something
Rocky
that
Mountain.
that had mountain.
On the
Yeah.
bill, it always said hog fries.
Now, I ate those. They weren't bad.
Well, I didn't eat any of that stuff.
But I just
I didn't even
think
eat
about what it
chicken.
was.
You've
livers
eaten
and
it, you
just-
just don't know it. Like he said, Jimmy Dean sausage, don't tell
It's
me
in
what's
your
in there.
it's in the sausage he makes.
Yeah,
What about squirrel? You didn't sell any squirrel.
I never, I can't kill,
And
yeah,
people
they do
hunted,
it.
they hunted
Yeah.
Tastes
frogs
like-
and squirrels and
Tastes like chicken.
birds.
My
but-
boss would bring squirrel egg rolls to like Super Bowl parties and feed them everybody that nobody would know, and they would tell everybody
Nobody
afterwards.
knew?
Yeah.
Yeah. I never did want any wild, and I never did want to eat rabbit.
Or
Yeah.
deer,
And my
I
uncle
never did eat deer.
raised rabbit.
I
Very
had,
dangerous.
I
Did you
had
raise
deer.
rabbits? You
Huh?
had rabbits,
Rabbits
didn't you?
good.
Me?
Yeah.
I raised them, but I didn't eat them.
It's a little oily.
Didn't you sell them and kill them and sell
Sold
them?
them Tom Simler. Or
You sell them
Tom,
in the store?
what was that, what was,
Yeah.
Tom-
Tom.
Evans, was it
Tom,
Tom?
yeah.
Yeah, he bought them.
He sold them in
You
the store?
killed them and he bought them from you.
I didn't do it but twice.
Dress.
You know, Carol Burnett.
Woodrow helped me the
Fluffy,
first time. I'd never
fluffy.
killed one in my life, and we killed and dressed them and took them up there, and Tom bought them, and then the second time I did it myself, and I got rid of the rabbits after that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I never did.
Little
like any kind of
thumpers.
wildlife.
Well, that must be against the law.
We had a white one.
Oh, yeah, and in fact,
Probably
we used
then.
to grind an awful lot of sausage for these farmers that kill their own, you know.
On
and-
pigs?
Yeah, they'd kill their pigs and they'd cut it up and season it and bring it in. Well, a lot of times they'd want Mr. Phillips to season it too. And we'd grind it for them, and then the health department got where, and we'd do deer.
But they.
And we never did like to do deer much, but we were glad when the health department got involved there.
They used to get wild hogs and kill them.
Yeah, we grind,
I wanna do that really bad.
Aflac.
You wanna do
I
it?
wanna go hunting, I really do. That'd be good.
How
Well-
about armadillos?
We didn't have armadillos.
Didn't have armadillos.
We just had.
Well, they
them in
do
recent
something,
years.
the lady that gave me the recipe for that cheese dip thing, they do something in Texas where the men all go out on hunting on a lake or something, and it's just a tradition that they do in the South. I think it's common, you know.
For
that-
crawfish?
Well, how many deer are on the lake?
Well, they get
Well,
deer and fish and
Crawfish
all
boil.
kinds of things.
All in one lake?
if you
Yeah,
wanna hunt
they do
wild
frogs
hog,
to get frog legs.
get your
Yeah.
mother-in-law to call her cousin, because he told me the other day the hogs are just tearing his
They
place
are,
up.
they are, they're out of
And
control.
what
They don't
cousin's
even need a
that?
license for them.
Where?
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 In
Hmm?
Texas,
Texas.
Louisiana.
Immel, he was
Anything's
fussing.
the
Oh.
South, yeah. Or, Oklahoma, really bad.
For wild pigs?
Wild pigs, yeah.
You know Aflac,
Oh,
the
yeah.
duck,
Uh-huh.
well, their headquarters in Columbus.
Oh, really?
And the guy that started it, he bought some land about 10 miles from us, up on the mountain. And he started a hunting preserve. And what they would do, I mean, any kind of animal, anywhere in the world you wanted to hunt, if you had enough money, he'd get it and basically stake it out there and let you go shoot it.
Oh, really?
And he had hogs and he had everything up there.
Oh, my goodness.
And those hogs got loose. And there was one guy down by Paul
Oh, bless
Lexi, that McDonald, they were kin to him, but he, no telling how many hogs he brought in that we ground up for him.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah, they're really bad right now. Super bad.
You mean bad because they're
They're
ruining
just
property?
overpopulated.
Yeah.
And then they brought
But
in
they're
some
mean.
Get
Russian
into
Yeah.
people's
hogs that are
gardens.
huge.
They'll root your garden all up,
Yeah.
or your yard.
Yeah.
And of course, the armadillos are about as bad, but for some reason, we've had 3 armadillos at our place, and I guess it's because of the dogs, we're not, but Bob and Steve, their dogs bring them up all the time.
Yeah.
Well, when I was in the service in Louisiana, they would kill armadillos on the highway every day, but Texas said they never had one armadillo until they started building bridges from Louisiana to Texas.
Well, what's in Louisiana that's just, is it that rat, that nutria-rat?
Yeah, that's in
That's
the
a bad one
swamps there.
too, yeah.
Only good part about them, the alligators like them.
Yeah.
Is it a real rat?
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's big though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's bigger than a,
Almost like a beaver.
and they're in the swamps.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They give you $5 a tail down there for now.
Yeah, but how do you get the tail?
Would you like to live in the South?
No, well, I wouldn't mind it. It's
Oh,
green.
no, that humidity.
It's the humidity is pretty
When I
I've
moved,
heard Arkansas is really pretty.
Parts.
Still humidity.
bad. Yeah.
when I moved to Georgia,
Georgia's pretty.
there wasn't a deer in Harris County.
You got bugs that we don't even know
His
about.
brother hit 2 in 1 week.
They can come in. They can come
There
in.
was some noise out in the front.
It might be somebody walking by with a dog and then they bark.
It's more
Or
like
it might
a
be someone
car.
walking by without a dog.
Is there somebody in the driveway?
No, well, Patrick's truck is there, but it was like on the street.
Oh.
Somebody trying to steal your truck, but
Well, Patrick has a story about wild pigs on Catalina.
Wildlife
You
on
can't tell
Catalina?
that story.
Well, it was just going around, they said, go out, we went to Catalina for, like a week-long school trip. And so you go out, you know, there's wild boar on the island, so if you go with a pair, so, you know, you'll see. Well, me and a buddy would hide in the bathrooms and the girls would come in, and they'd just,
does it still work?
yeah.
When's the last time you did that one?
Yeah.
Settle down, relax.
Oh, we have
He went down
raccoon that come up and eat the dog's food, I know.
Yeah,
Have you
well,
seen-
we had this whole tree full of raccoons.
Yeah, the
one
Jerry
day.
told me about it.
Have you seen the videos of the raccoons
What's
that
that?
come in through the dog doors? And they'll like
Yeah.
take like the
We have some
rugs and
friends in
stuff.
Pasadena that they had a dog door, they didn't have a dog, but they had a cat. And raccoons came inside there and did some damage.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
But they were gonna get a chip put in the door and in the
Oh.
the animal, and then
Yeah.
it opened it.
I've seen those, they're really expensive. Yeah, it only opens for that.
Yeah,
animal.
everybody
Yeah.
says they are expensive.
Yeah.
but-
It's better than having raccoons tear.
Yeah.
And,
I guess we don't
You
have
went into
much
Josh's
problems with things because of
when
our
it was,
dogs.
I guess it was probably Steve and Bob when they were still at home, these little old ladies lived on that block and they all played canasta, but there was one almost directly across the street, called over to the Phillips house one night, I guess, afternoon or something, and said, Earl, would you send one of those boys over here and get my cat, this cat, said it keeps coming in and I don't want it in here. Yes, ma'am, we'll do it. So Bob or Steve went over and went in there, and sure enough, possum was in there.
Oh, boy, those are ugly little things.
They eat them though,
Who does?
the blacks.
Did they really?
Yes.
They kill possums.
They catch them and they'll, catch them and they'll pin them up and feed them corn for a week or so and clean them out.
Oh, oh.
Probably put an apple in its mouth and bake it.
I don't know if you can find an apple that small. That's a pig you put the apple in.
Well, there were some pretty big possums. I trapped 158 squirrels. I had about 4 possums. I had 2 bluebirds, and
Did
I
you eat
guess
the
that was
squirrels?
it. Huh?
Did you eat the squirrels?
And that the guy said, you gotta
How long does
carry
he
it."
go, Jerry?
Not long enough.
I saw this show where this lady was eating squirrel brains.
Oh,
Well,
she
that's
no.
used to, my grandfather and people like that, they used to eat
Yeah.
squirrels.
She goes, there
Oh,
ain't nothing
great.
better than squirrel
Brains.
brains. She would pick it out of the pot.
No, but squirrels, that's squirrels.
Yes, I had to drive them 5 miles away,
Oh.
because they come
Hey,
back.
My
I mean,
grandmother
that wouldn't be
used to
much
make
of a
brains and
meal for a
eggs from
squirrel
my
brain. I
father
mean,
for
you'd have to have a
breakfast.
lot of
Well,
squirrel.
I mean, they would eat the whole squirrel, but she would pick it out of the pot before she served it. Oh, I love me some squirrel.
You ever watch a
Oh,
Cajun
yeah.
eat shrimp?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I took Courtney to a place where they come whole. Me and my boss from Louisiana. And he goes, oh, I got this crawfish and crab boil place. And we go there and the shrimp are whole, but everything's
Just
whole.
suck everything out?
Yeah, so he got the crawfish and he'd suck the juice out of it.
Crawfish are good.
Yeah.
You ever
It's
eat it?
good.
No.
We used to
But when
catch,
that guy told me he had taken 5 miles away, I was gonna spray them blue, on the tail. Just a spray on their tail, blue. Because I figured, well, if they come back, they've been here, if they come back with blue
you
tail.
just take them 6 miles.
This one's a second offender.
I didn't want the paint all over the cage, so I didn't. When I was taking, I guess, my 50th one up to the hill and found out Merrill had friends just down the corner from where I was dropping them off.
First time we'll do blue and then we'll do red.
Yeah.
This is California.
Exactly.
They could have arrested you for that.
For what?
For spray painting the squirrels.
No, they couldn't do that. No. I
Well,
wouldn't
if
know.
you watch if you watch these educational programs like, Swamp People and stuff like that, you see they shoot those squirrels, those two old boys at the beard and everything,
Shoot them with what?
with a 22.
Oh,
Then they make
Ah,
squirrel dumplings, they catch gar and make, you ever watch them noodle in Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah. That looks interesting.
what is that?
We should go
They
try
go
that.
down and get the catfish and pull them
Yeah.
out with their hand.
Oh, no,
But don't they put their hand in the mouth?
In the mouth,
Yeah.
no, I don't know.
Man, you're missing out. You're probably
Yeah, I
watching
sure
stuff
am.
like Murder, She Wrote.
I'll
You
tell
probably.
Give me a good chick flick any day. and I'll take it.
Yeah.
What was that movie that it got critical praise, but Wendy and I were hiding under our
Pillow talk.
sweaters half
Pillow
the
talk.
time.
The dog.
Where they
Rock Hudson or
bury
whoever.
somebody in a creek out in
Where?
the long winter or the,
Long hot summer.
No, there's nobody buried in
Winter
that one.
I
discontent.
can't remember, it was in the south.
Who was
and
in it?
No, you didn't see it, you would never have seen this, I don't know why we saw it, but The Long Winter or something like that.
Huh.
Was when the girl with the dragon tattoo came out, cause we saw that one the same night,
Lieutenant knows.
one right after another.
Meryl likes war movies, I like chick flicks.
No, I don't like war movies at all.
And you were talking about that other strange couple.
But do you
Trudy
remember
and
driving
Dan.
up when we first moved into this house and driving up the driveway and we saw a possum in the driveway and it said just the two beady eyes and we were sprayed at night.
Great, we're in the country now.
Yeah, really.
And what did happen?
It was, we just were pulling into the driveway and you just saw these two eyes reflecting and that
Well, you
night
know.
he was in our room saying, ooh, I think there's something in the window.
Well, they're really, I trapped 4, I think, but when I go get them in the trap, they go, and so I went, and he gets back, it's like I'm the big guy.
Oh yeah, big you with your
And
cage.
well, no, you open
Spray paint.
you open the cage door and you go, and they walk out, and they just walk away slowly, they're not, I don't think they ever did any damage in the yard, like
What?
digging.
People have them as pets.
Oh, I don't know.
Possums?
about that.
Skunks and skunks
They do?
too.
No
Yeah.
way.
Skunks are
I
supposed to be
wanted,
very
when I was a little
cat-like.
girl, I wanted a skunk so bad because we knew somebody that had one descended.
Yeah, they descend them, yeah.
And, I
Her
wanted.
brother lived across the street from us when they first built the cabin. Well, him and his new wife stayed there for a while till they built their house. And he heard this going on outside one night, and he went out and his dogs had a raccoon.
Oh,
And he killed a raccoon and buried it.
Oh.
And he ended up taking 21 rabies shots.
really?
Oh yeah, they've got rabies like.
Well, you remember Bridges. What was Bridges' first name? The minister. You remember? Walter?
James.
James Bridges? Well, anyway, the
Yeah.
church had a boiler room in the back. And I don't know how I did it, but a skunk would get in there from time to time, and Bridges would go down like on Sunday morning about maybe 5 in the morning.
Turn the
And
heat on.
he'd going to turn the heat on for the church, because it's a big building. And he went down once, and it was dark, and he went in automatically to turn it on, and the skunk sprayed him.
Yeah.
He ran out the door and pulled every stitch of clothing off.
Oh,
Just
Lord.
about the
Don't tell
daybreak.
him so after that.
Oh,
And then there he was out there naked with the clothes all stinking. I guess he had, and I never did hear if he got in the car nude or if he, but
He went
that
over to Miss
happened more than
Blevins'
That
house.
happened more than one time when he was sprayed.
He went over to Miss Blevins' house. Well, you know Don Taylor.
yeah.
Don Taylor, when he first moved to Pine Mountain, was a plumber. And this black church was having revival or having a meeting. They had meetings. And this plumbing was backing up. So they called Mr. Don, and Mr. Don goes out, and he's got this old Chevrolet truck that leaned and everything. This was like in 1950. When did he move to Pine Mountain? We got married in 61, probably around 1960. And so they take the top off the septic tank
Oh,
to see what's going on. Don falls in.
Oh.
This is a true story now. This is a true story.
Oh.
Because he'll tell it. They wouldn't help him out.
Probably laughing too hard.
No, they didn't want to get, pull him in too. So he finally gets out.
Oh my goodness.
And I think it was in Hamilton, which is 7 miles from Pine Mountain. He had a room in a house with a little old lady up there.
He wasn't married then?
Huh?
No.
No. So he, that stuff's just eating him up.
Yeah.
He strips naked. And he gets in his truck and he goes out like a bat out of hell, going to Pine Mountain to get a shower. He gets stopped by the highway.
And how do you explain this one?
It's probably smelling.
Well, then, and everything worked out, but then to make it worse, he fell in again another time. I didn't know anything about this till about 6 months ago.
He must have liked it.
Oh, God.
I mean,
You would think he would never go near another one after that.
you don't fall in, and just, you go in.
I would think he'd have diseases, if it got in your eyes or.
His skin probably was red for years.
But if that happened to me, I wouldn't tell a soul.
I know.
But Don, he
Well,
tells
I wouldn't-
everybody,
I wouldn't have gone out there the first time that do that business. Ah,
Lord.
And he doesn't seem like the type that would, do that.
maybe that's
No.
why his voice is the way it is.
Oh.
He got all screwed up when he fell into that.
Oh, boy.
He's a character.
Ah, that one's terrible.
He told a preacher one time, he said, preacher, if you'd come to church once in a while, you'd find out what the hell's going on around here.
Well, we had a skunk under the house here. And we had one outside, and a girl from animal control.
It was after we came back from your house one year.
I think
Yeah.
And a girl came out with and the skunk. I had put our trap just down under that bush just to leave it there, but I left it up.
Justin,
And
you wouldn't do that,
the
would you?
skunk went in the trap and got trapped, but it filled almost the whole cage. And this girl comes out and she says, I think it must be a really old skunk or a pregnant one, didn't she say?
She thought it was a pregnant female.
And so she had a long
Stick.
stick that you screw together, and it was about 12 feet long and a hypodermic needle on the end, and she put it through the cage and put him to sleep, and then carried him out. And so I said, what are you going to do with him? And she said, well, it's up to us. If we're busy, we can let him go out in the mountain, or we can take him back, and depending on if his health and all that, they can put him to sleep for permanently. Anyway, she carried him away, and I don't know if it was months or a year later, we had another one, but it was still under the house.
Blue paint on it?
And they won't go under the house, except for 3 feet. They gotta reach in, and we got a door downstairs that goes under the house. And I put the trap down there just 3 feet in. And this skunk came and got in there. So I seen through the crack of the door, and I called the animal control. I thought the girl would come back. They sent another guy out. I wasn't here. Mariella took him down there, and he just didn't use his head. He opened up the door and I guess he got too close. The skunk sprayed him, and it ruined his clothes, he said.
He showed me this little teeny orange dot on his clothes. And he was kind of mad at me, and he was saying, do you realize that my uniform is ruined now? I can't ever wear it again. And I thought,
That's his
"No,
job.
it's your
Yeah.
good
What about
job.
my
You ought to
house?
know this."
How long is this house gonna smell?
Yeah. Well, it smelled for a long time. So we did get somebody to go under there and,
We had a guy
Found a
working
dead
for
one.
us in the yard, and I said, have you ever been under our house? He said, no. I says, well, let me, come with me. And I said, I had a garbage bag and a flashlight. And I said, I think there's a dead skunk in the corner over there, will you go in there and get it? And he said, yeah. I gave him that bag and he went in there and got it and brought it out.
It's the only way we got rid of that skunk smell.
I said, now cut the lawn.
I hope you tipped him good.
Probably
I
not.
don't
Yeah.
remember,
You remember Bill Doughton?
yeah.
Well, he lived in that house right across from where we had the party, the
Yeah.
women's club. And it was Mr. Phillips' house.
Uh-huh.
And it had a back porch and, you know, we were in the store and everything and you didn't buy a freezer back then. We'd get the ice cream man and say, you got any old ice cream boxes, and give them a few dollars and they'd bring you an ice cream box and use it for a freezer.
What's ice cream box?
Did they-
When they
Like a
used to open up the
display.
top and get your ice cream out.
It's like a
Oh.
refrigerator with.
Yeah, it was a freezer.
Freezer.
It was a freezer.
They give-
Basically, it was
they
a
give it to
freezer.
you?
Well, for $30 or $40.
Oh,
So he had one that he had bought, we bought them all from the salesman, route sale. But he had it on the back porch and he kept hearing this noise, some of them in the, so Bill, he went and he looks over there and he thought he saw something, so he shot it with a little .22 pistol that he had. And he had a problem with his house smelling for a while.
there was a
Ugh.
skunk?
Yeah.
You got it?
He
I
got
guess
it,
so.
I
You
mean,
got it,
he
but
killed it?
but it got
Yeah.
him
but
too.
it sprayed, he must not have killed it
Oh,
first shot.
Instantly.
huh,
Whoa.
yeah.
Our fluff bat was skunk in with a skunk one time when we lived on Spring Valley.
Buttermilk.
Tomato juice.
Tomato
Now they
juice.
said tomato juice doesn't do it.
It did that though.
Did it?
Yeah.
How long
Because
did
I've
it,
read that you should try tomato juice, but I've also read
how
that
long
it
did it
doesn't
take
work.
you the tomato juice?
Well, it was Courtney's. We're at 8th grade graduation.
You had
What
a
was it?
pink dog for
You had
a long
you had
time.
friends over. They all bathed him in that tomato juice, and but he
Ew.
turned red.
Yeah,
Must have
yeah.
1-to-1.
Here, ready, here, ready.
Put a blue stripe on it.
You don't remember that? Do
Huh.
you remember that, Dave?
I remember hearing the
She
story.
always made up stuff.
Are you sure it wasn't Jennifer's friends that did it? 'Cause I don't remember doing that.
I think it was Brian was there. Brian Ewing. It was the end of school. I know it was like June, like last day of school or something.
The room right there, one day was out in the front door, Johnny Claudia probably got us, right there,
Yeah.
in those hedges. And I hit that one with the Prius one day, it stunk the whole.
You
Oh
remember-
my goodness.
You remember Hudson?
Yeah.
Hudson had a grandson that was about
This is a meat
black
guy
guy
that
that
worked on.
cut meat for us. This kid was probably, I don't know, he's 16, 17 years old, but he had to be 6'1" or 2" and about 240. He's a big old boy. And this white guy used to trap turtles down at Callaway, worked at Callaway, and he'd bring them up to Hudson and give them to Hudson. Hudson would eat them. And he brought one up one day and he come in there and he said, Hudson, I got a big turtle out here for you today. And okay, so I went out and looked at it. And that thing was, he had it in a wash tub. It was big,
What was it?
a turtle. And this old grandson of Hudson, he come up and he was looking over in there. And I just walked up behind him and poked him. And about the time I poked him, that turtle jumped. That boy turned white.
God.
Why did they make soup out of it or something?
I don't know.
And that's the dirty, I mean, turtles eat everything, so to eat them would be the
Well,
worst.
we got
thing.
turtles in the lake over there, and I went
You tried to trap
to Roanoke and bought a trap. Paid about $40 or $50 for this trap. Oh, it's going to catch them. I come back and got out there, and we put chicken necks in it to start with, and it didn't do any good. So we got to ride around, and we'd get armadillo, roadkill, and put them in there. Went back in about 2 days, and there wasn't anything but about 3 or 4 little bones in there, and they still hadn't caught a turtle. I don't know how they get in there and get out.
Ooh, God.
Well, I'll tell you, the guy told me, Mariano told me that I had a trap, and I was putting Ritz cracker and peanut butter in there. And then they were eating the oranges, so I put in a cut up orange. And I just wasn't getting them. He says, what you do is you put an avocado in there, because avocado is heavy compared to an orange. And what they do is they go over and try to pick it up,
Hmm.
and then they get the lever and it closes the door. And that worked, except Merrill says, well, we're not gonna buy avocados, they're 5 cents a pound.
5 cents a
Or
pound.
whatever they were.
Yeah.
We'd rather have the squirrels running around than pay.
Well, are you still trapping squirrels?
Well, I've gotten tired of it. I did.
We haven't had many, have we?
Haven't been up to the trap in weeks, so who
Well,
knows what's
no,
in
I've
there.
gotten
That's
more.
what
Did
I
that.
did.
They dance all around it, but they don't go in it. I caught one about a month or so ago, but,
You check it every day?
well, it's up on the hill. I can see it from the kitchen window. But,
Yeah,
I
I
can see-
did
I can
that
see 'em in the
once
tree
when
too, eating
he had
oranges
the
in
trap
tree.
up above and you couldn't see it from the kitchen window, and he went someplace for a week, maybe to meet you in Oklahoma, and
Oh,
he had the trap set. And I didn't go up all week. Ooh, I went up there right
Dead
before he
squirrel, huh?
came
they
home.
caught the squirrel the day I
The
left.
dried out flat squirrel and
With a paw on an orange.
oh, I know, because I don't want to be cruel, and I was cruel to
Oh,
him.
that took forever to get that fur off of this cage and everything.
Oh,
Clean that up.
Oh, a squirrel is just a
Yeah.
big old rat.
I know. Well, we've got to get the bait out for the rats too, because we get those in the summer.
That's what we just got.
You guys must get them. You've got
Yeah.
vegetation around
We
you.
have
What about you,
skunks.
Patrick? You don't get them?
There's rats in
Yeah.
your house?
We had one
Not
You
in
know,
our
we
house,
got,
on
we
the
got
outside.
7
The
traps from
In the
Yeah.
barbecue.
in the barbecue.
bait people.
Yeah, that's pretty
And it was a
gross.
service, what, they $50 a month?
Still.
Mhm.
And they'd come out
I get the
and
pellets
check
in
it
there, I
once,
shot 'em
and
one
of course,
night.
they'd get in there and
And
eat
then
this,
I haven't seen 'em since.
bar, and then they'd go off and die.
No, Tanner.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't, but they wouldn't come back, and so you're paying for $50 for one time, and so
They come back once a month.
and I said, I called and said, I don't want the service anymore, and he said, okay, well, we'll come and pick the traps up, and we went out 2 weeks, they didn't come, 3 weeks. Judy had the same service, and she told him, said, well, Edgar's wants you to come over and get those traps, they don't want them. He said, I will, and it got into 6 months, they hadn't been here. And so then I decided, I wonder if I can open those traps. You get a screwdriver and they just pop right open. So I went up to Somas and bought,
Yeah.
these bars of
Bait.
poison. And, I tell you, those, they love that.
It was after you guys had been here,
Yeah.
and we're
They
sitting
were
out on the
flying,
patio, and
Yeah.
whoa.
Well,
You ever hear of this glue that'll catch an elephant?
what will?
Oh yeah, I've used those before.
Glue?
That's neat. They just.
That's right.
Have you really?
I don't know if they call it glue, but
What is it?
it's, you catch an elephant with it.
What?
Well,
Glue
whatever you wanna
trap.
catch.
It's a glue trap.
We
Oh,
used
glue.
it
I thought you said
we
glue.
used it in the store to catch mice.
Yeah. Did
Is it a
you
sheet?
caught him?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's a flat sheet.
Oh, I've seen that.
See, I
Flat sheets with,
I put him under the bed a couple times.
But you can't, if you use dishwashing soap, wash your hands, you can smooth it out and everything.
pick
If
your
you
rat
don't,
out.
you're stuck.
Hmm.
We used, Coke crates, the cardboard, the cans come in, we
Yeah.
put it in there.
You put the trap in there.
It's not you just smear this stuff on it,
Oh, okay. I bought the whole
and then
thing.
put gumdrops or peanut butter or something like that in it.
Yeah.
Oh, and they walk on it to eat it?
That fur sticks to it. Or...
I never got anything.
But it's
Except
it's
dust
pretty
balls.
wicked stuff.
What do you do? You just kill them after they can't get
Oh,
on?
they're probably dead by then.
Yeah.
Well, we took it, throw it in
During the
trash.
night, you hear them going, "Oh!"
Right, right.
Got 1 foot off.
You know what your dad would say? Lynn, come here and get this.
Him too.
Meryl, go change the fuses. We don't have any lights.
Got a penny?
You must get rats. Here we're all talking about rats. You must
No.
get them
He's
in,
on the 4th floor.
Yeah, I don't get rats.
in that oldest building that could be infested with them.
Oh,
They don't
No.
like heights.
No, my God.
there's no restaurants in his building.
How do you catch
There
them
was.
in your house?
There
I don't
was.
have them in my house.
Where was it?
She's gone next door.
Here,
Oh,
or you see them
I
on the fence
remember.
line, because there's
Yeah.
The wires.
a lemon tree
Yeah,
So they go into that.
gotta see them.
Do they walk the power line?
I haven't seen them.
When we first moved in this house, because it had been empty so long, you'd see them out in those lines, the power
What?
lines.
Squirrels run power lines at
Rats.
home all the
Oh,
time.
We're
I've
friends.
never seen rats on the power line. Squirrels,
We did too, we saw rats plenty of times.
I never did
Remember you had
Yeah.
all those, old fruit trees back there in the back?
that. We cut them all down.
I know, but not immediately.
You thought they were squirrels.
You said you saw a rat down there somewhere,
Where?
like down by where the garbage cans are now. I thought,
did?
yeah, I thought you said you saw a giant rat down there a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't think so. I just saw them, I saw one go through a knot, I have a knot in that fence up there, it's open. The knot fell out. And I saw a rat go into their yard over there, and I ran up there the next morning and put a cap over it so he couldn't come back.
Like he's not gonna climb over the fence or something.
We've had a few mice, I guess, over the years,
Not a long time.
not like,
But that old house, when they redid it all around the plumbing and everything, there was holes where they could get
Yeah.
up by the pipe. Because we don't have a cat. We had chipmunks
A
and stuff
cat
under the
would
house.
be good, especially where you live, a cat would be good.
Sophie'd kill it, or
dogs
Mandy
would kill
would
it.
kill it in a minute.
The dogs would kill it?
Oh, yeah, in a minute.
They've not been around long.
Oh.
Have you ever had a cat?
No, we haven't.
We haven't, we did at home, I guess, when I
Yeah.
was growing up.
But I haven't seen that little chipmunk that lives in the heater there. I
Oh,
don't
we
know
used to
when.
see it every time we were there.
He's not there now.
He may have died or moved away.
Oh, snakes will get him too.
Oh, they will. Oh,
Of course, we haven't seen the snakes, so.
Oh, we don't?
Do you?
You see a snake every once in a while?
This year,
We saw one, I've seen one this
there was
year.
a black snake out in the garden. I saw him
No,
cut
they
That's a
don't
garden
even
snake.
care. Oh,
A
I remember
snake's a
seeing
snake.
snakes on the road out
Far
over in
some
Georgia.
people
Oh, I've seen one
We
snake
live 2
in our
miles out.
backyard.